Colm Ahern, you and I have both been playing some Far Cry Primal on the PlayStation 4, the fourth of the PlayStations, Colm.
The fourth of the PlayStations, but the fives of the Far Cries.
Is it?
But there is no number. Well, I mean, there's Far Cry 2, 3, 4,
Blood
and
Dragon.
this. But then you also have, what was the other one? It was Far Cry something
Blood Dragon.
Expeditions.
You're forgetting Blood Dragon.
Oh, well, Blood Dragon as well, yeah.
So, do you know what? Hang on. Forget about them. Because, like, to be honest with you, the one I've enjoyed the most in a long, long time is Primal. Now, I think we're both of the same mindset here that Far Cry 3 is the best Far Cry.
Correct.
And Far Cry 4 was a good game, but it was, to be fair,
all right.
It was on a bit of a hiding to nothing, because it was never going to recapture the third of the Far Cries, because that's very much what they tried to do. It's very much Far Cry 3.5. That way it was. But
they did. I mean, yeah, okay. It was possible that they were never going to capture it, but they kind of. I mean, they could have come a little bit closer. But Far Cry Primal, however, takes the series in, like, I mean, there are very, very familiar aspects of it. It is a Far Cry game, and it feels very much like a Far Cry game. But it does introduce certain new elements, and, like, I suppose the Far Cry-ness feels very in place, very natural.
I wanted to start there anyway, so this seems like a good place to start. For those who are wondering, like, it is a Far Cry game. Now the reason I say that is because it's still got a big map, it's still open world, it's still, and I know you and I both hate it, but the emergent gameplay is a thing. We'll come back to the reason I actually think it's fine to say that here. But it is still a Far Cry. The essentials that make Far Cry what they are here, but they've removed guns and added in a lot of other stuff. Now, for me, again, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but for me, the weakest part of the actual Far Cry as a game mechanically of 3 and 4, I never got on with the shooting as much. So removing it for me and kind of putting some of... Because what they don't just remove guns and go, there's no guns anymore. There's more to it than that, because the beasts thing, the fact you can tame and use the animals rather than kill them, kind of means that although you haven't got these massive automatic weapons or these rocket launchers, grenades, you've kind of got the beasts to reweigh the power balance, because otherwise it would be too difficult.
True. Yeah, it's like the beast is the kind of new hot shit in Far Cry Primal.
But it's very, very cool, Colm.
It's incredibly cool. It's incredibly cool. And I suppose I say the new hot shit, and I've said this on multiple podcasts and multiple videos, and listen, because maybe this is your first Far Cry Primal thing that you've seen on Gods of Geek, so I'm gonna say it again. They've taken the shitty Shangri-La missions from Far Cry 4, they've taken that mechanic, and they've made it work just superbly here in Far Cry Primal. If you don't know, you're in the jungle, you're a caveman, and naturally enough, you need to kill animals and stuff, as you do in all the Far Cry games, to get food for yourself, to live and get energy and all that stuff. But also, and I suppose for crafting stuff like larger fucking bags to carry certain resources and shit like that. But here, you can also tame the animals, Adam, and you can become a sort of Dr. Doolittle of sorts.
Mammoth foot.
And you can get the animal to do your bidding. It's fucking incredibly cool. Like, obviously, there are skill trees in the game, and at first you're not able... Like, at first you're only able to tame kind of smaller animals, like maybe a wolf.
But did you really quickly upgrade that? Because I did, because I was like, I want those cool things.
I did too, yeah.
Did you? What's your general? I mean, try and avoid the spoilers, because there are hunt missions in the game that are like, because you can, if you see an animal running around, you can tame it essentially after you've upgraded your skills, and if you see a badger, a bear, but there are certain variants of those. So, for example, I'm nowhere near as far as you are, but my current animal is a saber-toothed tiger, who's badass, who. Although the hunt mission I've just been doing, he's not quite as badass as I thought he was, because without really spoiling it, the mission I'm on is a variant of another animal. So without naming any of those, what's your favourite animal that isn't a specialist animal, a specialist beast?
Well, my non-specialist favorite animal would have to be the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah,
It is an absolute fucking... pardon the
beast.
pun. It's a beast, Adam.
Of course, you can ride the saber-toothed tiger. Of course, as I found out last night, and when it told me last night, that's a stupid thing to say in a video that could be seen whenever. But anyway, it said to me, "You can ride this saber-toothed tiger when you unlock the skill." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's next, And I was literally panicking, looking through the skill menus, like, "Where is it? Where is it?" And then I realised it was not the easiest one to unlock. I was like, "No, I want to."
Yeah, there's a couple of ones beforehand. Yeah, it's saber-toothed tiger is an absolute fucking
beast.
A beast.
It's a beast.
But the like again, all these animals as well, they have certain attributes like stealth, strength, and
speed.
And like the saber-toothed tiger is like just a fucking animal, a beast, if you will. He's a beast.
It really is, though. I mean, literally, isn't it, and figuratively.
Yeah, well, it is really smart. Like it is very smart. It's very cool. All you do is you just like kind of, I suppose, aim down sights, for lack of a better word, and you like press the trigger button, and your beast just kind of makes a beeline for whatever you're pointing at and absolutely destroys it.
I was gonna say, if you run into two guys, like that saber-toothed tiger can kill them without you needing to do anything. And of course, then you can use the meat you've captured from other animals, harvested, I suppose, and you can feed it to them. And to be honest with you, I'll put an annotation up. There's a whole video Colm did about beasts that's terrific. The reason I mentioned him is because I wanted to talk about something, and I know to Colm I'll be repeating this, but there's something about Far Cry Primal that I've not seen them do in Far Cry, and it involves the beasts. So there's a mission that asks, basically you're collecting people for your village. That's the principle of the game, certainly in the early game. And you have to hunt a bear. And to be honest with you, at the point that they're doing this, bears are badass. Like, they are to be feared because they're massive and can wreck you. And even when you think like, oh, I'll just light my arrow and burn the bear, it's not that easy. Of course, it does cumulative damage, but you still have to be hitting it in the face, between the eyes with arrows, essentially. So they told me to go off and hunt a bear, and I got to the bear and I was like, but I kind of want to tame a bear, and this is a nice area, and I can throw some bait down and I can tame it. And so I did it, and I thought, I wonder if I'm going to break the game here, because it's told me to kill the bear. And rather than breaking the game, quite the opposite. The text changed, or the mission text that was telling me to kill the bear, and it says, go and find the hunters and tell them what you've done. So you go and find them, and expecting this sort of scripted nature to be like, oh, well done, you killed the bear. I was very surprised by the fact the scripting actually reacted to my actions in the game, and she took the piss out of me, this woman, for the fact that, I've never seen a hunter make friends with a bear before. You got a nice new friend now.
Friends.
Yeah, and that was the first moment that genuinely made me sort of stop and go, this is kind of special. You know?
Big time. And it's because like for that particular mission, I was I killed the bear. So it's It's I am, but it is. It's I kind of alluded to this at the beginning of the video, where everything feels in place because it's in the Stone Age. Like it's 10,000 BC. Like I suppose it's there's no kind of big baddie in Far Cry games. In the recent Far Cry games, you are used to like the big bad, the kind of charismatic
Pagan
and
Min.
Pagan
I couldn't
Min.
think what his name was. Then. Yeah.
Who was a fucking massive step down from Vass. But
it was good by other game standards, but Vass was so good, and that was the big problem. Trying to recapture that lightning in a bottle was yeah.
But there's no big bad here. It's about survival. It's about like you're in the fucking Stone Age, and you're a part of the Wenja tribe, and there's the Udam and the Azila, and basically it's kind of dog eat dog essentially, and like survival is such a massive important part of this world that like hunting it feels right because you're a fucking caveman. It's not like you're this kind of attractive 20-something-year-old like gone away on holidays over to this kind of mystical island, and somehow you get caught up in some sort of shitstorm.
It's interesting you say that, because when you look at the map and there's icons for the other characters who you're doing missions for, sort of thing, and then there's the one that's like, I forgot, Takar, your name, isn't it? And there's one for Takar that's like, that's your home. I kept seeing the picture of him, forgetting it was me, because it's almost irrelevant what you look like. I mean, almost, actually, it kind of is irrelevant what you look like, because the game feels so grounded in itself in such a good like the hunting column is it makes sense. It doesn't feel like some sort of almost torture porn kind of I'm white man killing everything that moves because it's gamey. It feels there's multiple
there's a sense of place in this world.
Yes.
And it's like there are certain parts where they kind of really go for that survival aspect, like say like as we were well aware in the past couple of years, you have your Don't Starves, your what's the one you like? The Long Dark.
The Long Dark. There's the Flame in the Flood coming out very soon.
Exactly. Like it's like it's an ever growing genre, and they kind of, because the map is split into 3 regions. Excuse me. And the top region is all kind of icy and snowy and whatnot. Now, it's not just for aesthetic purposes like games normally are. It's not a case of like, this is just the snowy part of the world.
Which Far Cry 4 didn't it, actually?
Yeah. But like, you go there, and because like, I suppose the first time you go there, I can't speak for everyone, this just happened to me. The first time I went there, I wasn't wearing appropriate clothing, so the cold was actually having an effect on me, and the game basically told me, if you stay out in the cold and don't try and seek shelter, you're gonna freeze to death. I was like, that's fucking really cool. And I think I would have liked it if they kind of went a little bit further with that, but at the same time, it's those kind of little touches and whatnot are quite a nice inclusion to the series. And it's just Primal for me, Adam. It kind of breathes new life into,
I was going to ask
Far
you
Cry.
this because we're aware of how long we've been talking, and obviously there's a review you can go read, and there's other videos that we've done, but I wanted to mention that because we talked many times before on podcasts and videos, and God knows what, just in person, about how Far Cry 4, they get away with that once. In fact, we recently did a podcast where we said the same thing. They get away with that once. You can't go back to that well again. And they only got away with it, I think, because people really liked more. And they wanted more Far Cry, and that's fine. This feels different. And I think it needs applauding for the fact that Ubisoft are a massive, massive corporation. And to us, they can only get away with it once. To them, they're making money. They could just put out Far Cry 5 and repeat the formula. And
look at their other fucking franchise,
exactly.
Assassin's Creed.
And I think we need to give them a bit of credit here for actually taking a little bit of a risk with Far Cry Primal, because I think it is a little bit of a risk to deviate in the way they've done. And I know I don't think you're quite as high as I'm going to say, because for me I haven't finished it, and I'm nowhere near. I don't think I'm even halfway through. I've just been because I've not been reviewing it. I've just been sort of engorging myself in stupid stuff, as is my wont. But I felt like it certainly approaches Far Cry 3. I can't say if it betters it, but it approaches it. But it pisses on Far Cry 4 by miles, and it just everything feels. I don't know what it is. It's been a while since I've played the game, and it's like it's just captured me. Like fuck, I want to play this game.
As I say, it's just everything has a sense of place, and it just feels very much alive. And yes, there's I'm not going to go through the entire story. There's a part in my review where I explain a story, and there is not a single sliver of bullshit in that story.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. Let's start.
Everything that's said there is fact, because it is that. Here we go, emergent gameplay that the Far Cry series in 3, little bit in 4, but not as much, and here in Far Cry Primal just gets so well, just so it's a great game, Eric.
It's a
really
fantastic game, and for more on it, go read Colm's story. This is very much a stream of our thoughts, our consciousness. If you want the more sort of in-depth kind of review, go to godisageek.com and in fact, godisageek.com/far-cry-primal/ that will literally get you to the review. You don't even need to click anything. I've just read it to you, or just Google Far Cry Primal review.
Either or.
Also go to patreon.com/godisageek to get videos early, to get longer podcasts, to get exclusive videos, and that's all for like $5 a month, which is £3-ish. Less,
very little, Adam. Less than a pint. In your lovely capital. Much less than a pint in your lovely capital.
Well, yeah, it is. Thanks very much for watching and listening. He's been Colm Ahern.
And he's been Adam Cook.
Brilliant. Bye-bye.
Hey. What are you doing?
I'm listening to this cool new indie band that I discovered. Oh!
Should have backed the Gods Geek Patreon.